Black people shouldn't be traveling and spending their money anywhere that's going to treat them poorly. You can say whatever you want about how America is, but guess what? That's where we were born and this is where we live. I'm not going to pay to vacation and visit somewhere that's going to treat me like shit.
I want to talk about that tourist video with the guy that was shooting content in Guyana. Listen, that guy don't have 1 inch of blood for me, but let me tell you something. That video sent me crazy. Monkeys know we limb for jump on, because if that was critics or some minister person that videoing somebody or some other content creator somebody, they wouldn't do this thing like this. Or if it was a white man, he wouldn't do that. Why isn't he getting charged? Why is he in jail or something? What's going on with the system? How could you hit somebody like that and get off? That video sent me crazy when I see that video. Why is nobody doing anything about it? Why is the video circulating, going viral? People go to different countries doing vlogs, showcasing a lot of things, and nobody don't do them nothing. Here comes Guyana, Guyanese, disrespectful people. If that person had any inch of blood for me, let me tell you, I want to go through the hooks and the crooks to make sure you get charged or make sure you feel a penalty. Because that's disrespectful. You should not be walking around freely, hitting somebody in the face just like. He should be made an example. If the law doesn't do nothing, somebody should make an example and let you feel it. I felt it for that man. That is so disrespectful. You slap somebody just like everybody's vlog. In this 21st century, everybody have their camera out vlogging, doing something. And you gonna just hit somebody, but monkey know what limb for jump on, because if it was critics was there, you would have never done that.
Black people shouldn't be traveling and spending their money anywhere that's going to treat them poorly. You can say whatever you want about how America is, but guess what? That's where we were born and this is where we live. I'm not going to pay to vacation and visit somewhere that's going to treat me like shit. That's why Italy is never going to see me. And now that I see what's happening in Guyana, that place wouldn't see me either. And y'all can talk about, oh, y'all, people in New York get slapped every day. It's not even about him being slapped. It's the fact that he was mistreated and harassed the entire time he was there. Before the slap happened and being denied services, why would you tell people, oh, you can't just write off a country? Well, maybe they should represent themselves differently if they don't want people to write them off. Anybody that says anything about they don't want to come to America because of how it is, I respect that. Don't come here.
Okay, guys, so I was watching some videos online and I came across one about Caribbeans criticizing Guyana, and even some Black Americans were really upset too, saying they don't feel like they can spend their money there, and that the way people over there welcome strangers or visitors isn't well. And there are a lot of reactions going around online, people giving their different perspective, and some clips even show a YouTuber who went there for tourism and filming, and he ended up being bullied and attacked in the market. So let's check out some of these reactions, and of course, I'll be right back with my own opinion on all of this.
Hey, what's up? Sorry? That's how they can your mother stand people. Do you touch me?
Anthony D'Olivero, the host of the Jumps travel documentary channel on YouTube, was assaulted while vlogging in Georgetown on his recent trip to Guyana. This was a lowlight in a week of bad publicity for tourism in Guyana, sparking discussions about tourism, hospitality, Guyanese culture, and filming in public. Guyanese are generally perceived to be warm and hospitable towards tourists. However, in my 10+ years of experience, I've noticed that filming in public exposes a glaring double standard. While Guyanese are generally averse to being on camera, unless they have something to complain about, they tend to be a lot less hostile if the person holding the camera is white. Of course, there have been other Black influencers and vloggers who've had different experiences, like Wodamayo, who exists in a completely different niche and is way more popular than Anthony is. From what I've seen of his channel on YouTube, Anthony is typically a jovial, warm person, and his interactions tend to be polite and respectful. You don't have to take my word for it, you can go check out his channel. I'm also not entertaining any arguments about him filming in a rough part, because it's the market and we've seen vloggers film in way rougher places than that. In fact, we've seen vloggers film in the same spaces with very different results. And for those talking about filming in public, in Guyana, if you're in public, it's more likely that you're on camera than you are off camera. Think about it. The government has cameras all over the place, especially in high traffic areas like the markets. Then there's businesses and private buildings with CCTV cameras covering their perimeter and entrances. What about the thousands of cars with dash cams, ring cameras, meta glasses, and then of course any and everyone with a smartphone? Looking at the video, you can see that this was very clearly just a passing interaction, not one where Anthony set up his camera, pointed it at these guys, and was clearly looking to start something. He was walking, going about his way on the vlog. And I think we can all agree that immediately resorting to assault is not the best way to handle a situation like that. Which is why it's good to see that the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce released a statement condemning the attack. It's clear that when we're confronted with issues like these, it becomes a discussion about Guyanese culture, caught between prejudices and stereotypes of the past and habits and practices of the present. And it might be time for us to accept that life in Georgetown is not as nice, pretty, and perfect as we like to portray, even when the cameras aren't rolling. Regardless, as Guyana gets more popular, there will be many more solo travelers and vloggers looking to document their experiences while they travel through the country.
I realized that I'm late to the party with the French blogger that went to Guyana and got ill-treated. And a lot of people are calling this out for what it is. Racism. More importantly, internalized racism, right? Because this was a black man that got slapped in the face by another black man because he was upset that somebody was pushing a camera in his face. But as many of you pointed out, and rightly so, if this were a white man walking through the streets of Guyana, his skin color alone would have protected him from that kind of violence. Is it possible that somebody white could have gotten assaulted? Sure, definitely. But is it likely? No. This black man had to consistently say throughout several of the videos that I saw that he was French in order to protect himself. He had to associate himself with a European country in order to maintain some sort of credibility as to why he would be blogging in the streets of Georgetown. Mind you, one creator rightly pointed out that the people of Guyana are not strangers to being filmed with all the CCTV and, you know, the 4,000 surveillance cameras that Jack Dio said they're going to install in the country. And this is the message that we're sending to tourists. We as a Guyanese people, we got to do better, man. No wonder the rest of the Caribbean ain't trying to claim us.
From Trinidad and Guyana, you're not excluded from this smoke. You know damn well that the Trini Indians and the Guyanese Indians or coolies are racist or colorists. They always telling their daughter, oh, bring home an Indian boy, and be vexed if they ever bring home a black man or a man with more Afrocentric features. I have a good Trinidadian friend who always say, he's like a shade lighter than me. He will always say, I think God, I'm not darker than any darker than how I am. Watch your mouth, boy. And I know it's not your fault, it's your parents' fault. And if that should come from slavery, but watch your mouth, boy. We love Trini, we love Guyana. But all of this dividing between black and Indian or native or aboriginal, how you say, has got to stop. No one man or one woman is better than anybody just because of the color of their skin and how straight them hair is.
Alright, see, I've been waiting on this. What is my take on these two tourists and the way they were treated differently? The Ministry of Tourism highlighted the same thing which I thought. This has to do a lot with the judiciary. This has to do a lot with the laws which are in Guyana to suppress the freedom of speech and the freedom of expression, because even the minister is saying that you have no right to video anyone's property or video anyone out in public. So Guyana should not be a tourist destination, because come on, understand this. If I go to America, I would like to take 2 pictures. I would like to video the community which I'm in. And it's very unethical that you tell a vlogger that every single body who's going to come into contact or come into the area that he's videoing, he should get permission before. Because if you're videoing in a public space where people are walking up and down, you literally got to stop the video every 2 to 3 seconds to ask someone's permission to continue videoing. That won't make sense. So again, if they would like Guyana to be a tourist destination, these laws will need to be reviewed. So again, the Minister of Home Affairs and the Minister of Tourism will have to come to grips with what exactly they would like from Guyana. Because come on, you go to North Korea, you have to ask permission to film. But how much people trying to go to fucking North Korea, right? Every single country that is a tourist destination allows people to video unhindered. You go to America, you can video. You go to Jamaica, you can video. You go to Barbados, you can video. You go to Trinidad, you can video. How is Guyana going to be pushing the economy to become a tourism-based economy? And then on the same hand, we have laws which say you cannot do this, and you cannot do that, and you cannot do this, and you cannot do that. People will not come and spend $2,000 to $3,000 US to take a vacation that they cannot take a picture, make a vlog about, and basically have memories, right? A lot of people, this is how they pay for the trip. I'm very sure that these two guys, that's how they make their money, by posting on their social media. So again, being a tourist destination goes above that. A lot of the popular people who do tourist destination make money from the content. So if you're going to have a lot of laws that bars this, they're not going to come to Guyana. And this is not the first people to say that Guyana has a very bad reputation when it comes to tourists, right? A lot of people don't post about it. There was this white guy, right? I follow him on YouTube. I watch all his content on YouTube. He said that Guyana is one of the hardest places for you to make content, right? And this is things that the Ministry of Tourism got to look into. Guyana get a bad review on many occasions from many tourists. Like if you watch a lot of these small YouTubers that visit Guyana, was this guy that was doing a series, right? Where he used to follow Cartel to like all of Cartel shows when Cartel first come out. And the guy said Guyana is one of the hardest destinations to film in. So like when you're getting all these negative reviews, you're not going to get the tourism that you would like to have, because trust me, nobody's coming to spend their money in a country which they cannot make a video or take a picture and post it on their social media and go viral. You're living in the age where everybody wants to be popular on social media, and the only way for them to do that is by making content and posting. And again, this is exposure for the country. So y'all need to figure out what y'all would like to have, because at the end of the day, if y'all have these laws in place, you always find citizens willing to attack tourists. And some people might not look like a tourist. It's easier, so that's the only reason why they might not attack this guy, because he looks like a tourist. This guy looks like a local. Same thing happened to Leon, and trust me, I've even seen this happen to a guy on Main Street where he was actually on a live and somebody approached him and attempted to take away the phone. So again, and the guy said the same thing. The guy said, I came here to see the lights and video and show my following. So, and yet still a local wanted to take away the man's phone. So yeah, the judiciary got to get it right, and that's the fact.
Here is the real thing. Traveling to a new country, especially one that is still developing its tourism industry, comes with challenges that many people don't think about until they see them firsthand. First, when bloggers or tourists start filming people without asking, it can make locals uncomfortable or defensive, especially in places where that doesn't happen every day. Many people in Guyana are not used to being approached with a camera in their faces, and some reactions weren't friendly, whether that's staring, walking away, or telling the visitor not to film. That's not an excuse for hostility. There was even a moment in one video where the traveler was pushed entering a market, something serious enough that the Guyana police force began investigating the incident as an assault, because violence against a visitor goes against the safety and hospitality values the country promotes. But here is the other side people are talking about online. When you are going into a place as a visitor, especially to make content or to broadcast experiences, there is an expectation that you first learn how people over there feel about filming, cultural norms, and how they treat guests. Others are saying the behavior shown in the video was unacceptable, and that hospitality should always include respect for visitors, and that's why discussion about this video have become so heated. For me, I think this situation is more complex than it looks online. I understand why some visitors feel disappointed when their experience did not match expectations, especially when they are spending money and hoping to feel welcome. At the same time, I also think it's important to respect local boundaries and understand that not every community is comfortable with cameras and content creation. If you made it thus far, I want to know what you think about this video. Drop your honest thoughts below. I'm really curious to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, like, subscribe and share this video. I will see you in the next one.